I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, be with us today as we deliberate the business of the county. Help us, Lord, to keep in mind the best interest of our residents. Help us, Lord, to keep in mind your teachings, and just help us, Lord, to just be kind and be good and be fair in all the things that we do. Ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. Sometimes when we get people dialing in on WebEx, I kind of forget you're there. So Steve, don't let me forget about you.
I won't stand. Thank you.
Okay, we're taking a look at the minutes from July 2nd, 2024. So how are we seeing those minutes?
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. All right, very good. Tony, what else do you have for us today?
Allied weekly health insurance claims. Those are in the amount of $14,973.14. That is all medical. Or I should, well, $13,213.72 is medical. And then there was adjustment of $1,759.42, which made it $14,973.14.
Okay, very good. Did you want to take a look at that? And otherwise, I accept a motion to approve that claim as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
A second.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Accounts payable claims, you all should have received those. Those are in the amount of $865,788.86. I think some of that has to do with some ARPA payments. Some of that is health insurance being paid back to us. Quality correctional care was a pretty big one. A couple of big hospital payments, EMS and stuff, which is why it's a little higher than we normally are.
What's that number again? 858?
865,
865.
788,
That's what I did.
Eric?
86.
Okay. All right, I missed the first part. 865.
Okay, any questions on the claims as presented?
No
If
questions.
not,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion carries to approve the claims as presented.
That is actually all I have. The treasurer has his report, but Kathy may be coming down to do that. If she does not do that or is not able to do that and she's busy, I will handle that myself later during his time. So that's all I have right now.
All right. Well, that was short and sweet, Tony. All right. Must have stuck my agenda somewhere. Nate, what do you have for us today?
A couple of updates for him. Just a note on Bridge 27, that's the Pickle Road, northwest of 000 over the Gerke Ditch. I'm starting to get calls from various consultants interested on that CE contract, so you may hear more. I do have 2 that have committed to apply, so that's pretty good for us as far as getting response. NDOT usually wants to make sure that we're getting competitive applications when we go through for federal funding. So that's a good sign for us. We shouldn't have any issues then when we finally do make a selection. Bridge 132, that's the one on 500 South east of 000 over the Havager. Requotes are due this Thursday at 11 a.m. for the overlay project. If we're unsuccessful the second time, I'll likely wait until 2025 to try to requote it, and I'll start looking at different larger contractors on that project. So we'll just kind of see what the response is.
Wonder why we're not getting much response on that.
Just no interest or what?
Well, it's just because of this, it's relatively small and it's just paving, but it's paving on a bridge. So the paving contractors are gonna do about 80% of the work and money, don't really want to touch a bridge on their own. So they like to work as a sub on some of them, other ones, one of them is just too busy. So that's why I'm a little concerned, but we'll see what happens on Thursday.
Do they get a little hungrier towards fall?
Well, it just depends on what the workload is.
Okay.
So really what'll end up happening is I may try to go back after this in November, December for 25 when they're trying to slot work in.
Okay.
So right now I'm trying to get it to work into their schedule. So essentially I'm asking for a favor from our bidders. So if we only get one bid or two and they're very high, then I might scratch those as well. So just a update for you on that. Quarterly reports, I've submitted one and I still have one left to do. I'm going to complete that this week. I was waiting for a response from the consultant on that one. Community crossings application that has been submitted to NDOT. I think I emailed you the confirmation email back from the state. Now we just wait till October, November for potential notice. Hopefully we're successful on that one. Bridge 44, the work was completed last Tuesday, so that's open traffic. And lastly here, just kind of flying through this list is did spend part of yesterday looking at our small structures, photographing some of them, looking for any conflicts. We do have 8 of those structures on the list for next year. That's this binder here is my status for those. Right-of-way request letters have started to go out to some of the property owners. They should be reaching out to myself or the attorney's office directly, but you may hear about them if they've got your number. Just want to let you know. Once we have right-of-way, I'll start working on some utility company relocations or conflicts we're going to have. So that's part of the tour that I was taking yesterday, was to double check constructability, trees that might be in the way for a crane to lift some of the larger pieces. So I'm hoping to finalize the sizes and get that confirmation with the surveyor's office here in the next month or two. Once that's done later in the year, probably October, November, I'm going to start looking at putting these out for quotes to the suppliers for the actual boxes. And depending on where I'm at with my budget, I may buy some of the boxes with the budget I have this year, and then it'll just free up some funds that I have in the budget for 25. So
How much of that work is dependent on the right of way?
a lot of it. I mean, if I've got a large box and I want to get rid of the guardrail or abutments or head walls, then I need the additional right of way to extend those culverts out. Once I can have a large enough clear zone for a better slope on that, then it's just safe for the drivers, it's better for the farmers. So that's the explanation, and that's the review that I'm gonna have to go through with some of the farmers. Yeah, you may have a nice straight line on the edge of the field, but you also have a concrete wall on both sides. One of the structures I went out and photographed, and I'm talking to Paul, he's like, oh yeah, that one, somebody hits that about every year. Well, now that becomes a safety issue as well.
Right.
Whether I put guardrail or it's a concrete head wall, I mean, that's a serious obstruction in the right of way. So if I can push that out, extend that, then we don't have anything. Then it's just simply a write-off road, and you may never get a police report or an accident report after that. So it's a design change, but we need the space to physically make that work, and I need to work with the landowners who are adjacent to it.
And a lot of the structures you're looking at, existing structures adapting to newer safety standards, whereas here, when you replace a box, you got the opportunity to.
Everything from safety standards to farm equipment. I mean, many of those structures were, at least one of those structures was probably put in 80 years ago. So it's certainly the very equipment that's driven by the farmers and the passenger vehicles out there. I mean, you can look at aerial images of the county from 40 years ago, and it certainly gives a very different picture of what's out there and the use on the roads. So, but, yep, we're starting to reach out to the property owners, and I'm trying to be a year ahead with some of that communication with them so that they know what's going on. I was able to talk to a couple of property owners that were out there when I was actually taking the photographs. They just happened to be there just explaining to them the intent and the schedule and why we're doing that, so. But these are 4 of those 8 that I'm looking at are currently load posted to the point where school buses can't travel. So the intent is to get those replaced next year. So,
Very good.
very good.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Good seeing you, Steve.
All right, Brad, what do you have for us? Probably wanting a new truck.
How'd you guess? Well, good morning, guys, and I am gonna actually, I'll let Paul talk more about this, but I sent you guys an email, last week informing you, and also we talked to council a little bit, so I'll let Paul he can explain more, answer more questions if you have them.
What it come around to is a couple of our vendors with our truck vendors have come to us and said that the transmissions, Allison automatic transmissions that we put in all of our trucks, they're not doing away with. They're not making the heavier transmission until further notice. Was also made aware that they're bumping up some of the emissions standards a little quicker as far as when they're going to start taking place. Also, that there would be possibly spots if we could order in the fourth quarter for delivery in 25 that we would alleviate, have to deal with that a little bit. Our next chassis that I would want is a single axle, so that helps us with the transmission issue because that takes the next size down that they seem to be continue making.
It's not as bad as it was a couple of years ago where you have to wait to even get a spot,
It's better, but we're still, if there's a spot open and you have the
Still kind of-
capability of doing it, you want to jump on it. Because with that, some of that emissions is going to start taking place mid-year next year. And with that, if we get ahead of that, then we're not going to be somebody playing with something new and you got to work all the bugs out. So the idea in our 5-year plan and what have you is that if we can get this single axle dump truck before the emissions, then we can hold off on trucks hopefully for 2 or 3 years and kind of let the dust settle on this emission stuff and see where it's going to take us if we're going to get something good out of it or if they're going to backpedal and push it back or what's going to
Plus
happen.
we can get transmission, that Allison transmission.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that by then too. So if we can move forward with advertising and bidding a single axle on here in this fourth quarter and get ahead of that, then I think we'll be in pretty good shape for the next 2-3 years at minimum.
And then like I told you too, he was telling us if we don't do this in the fourth quarter, he said in 25, you'd be lucky to even get a slot. Yeah.
And then who knows what 26 and 27 looks.
So that's like Paul said, that's what we planned. We're just gonna hold off if we can get this truck done, we're gonna hold off 2-3 years and just let it settle down.
Let the dust settle.
Yeah.
So, the truck was already in our budget, figured in our budget for next year. We were planning on looking into that like first part of the year, but now with the information we've got, we want to try to bump that up and.
But it'll still be, from listening to council, it'll still be appropriated next year.
Yeah,
right?
it'll still come out of next year's budget just like planned. We just got to order a little quicker so we can get ahead of the game.
Right. Yeah, because that's where I was getting a little bit lost when you were
Yeah,
asking council for permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was.
With the State Board of Accounts, they either want the money sitting in there before you sign the contract order, or they want council to agree to appropriate that
Which
money
they
for
couldn't
them.
officially agree, they just had to.
Yeah, it was just
It was
a
just
gentleman's word.
a wink and a nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is what we needed to move forward with this, to go forward if you guys would give us permission to move with it, so.
Right. Okay.
So any questions, we'll try and answer them.
So do we need an official motion then to go ahead and
To allow us to.
Yes.
to move.
put an order
Yep.
Yes.
together? So, Okay, Steve, what's your thoughts?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion
Thank you,
carries.
Jim.
Thank you. All right, next item of business. You remember, what was it, a month ago, we had the tree come down on the pickup? And we had some struggles with the insurance company, getting them to get back with us. We went out and got an estimate and all that on it. Finally got around with them here in the last week, and they have decided that, yes, the vehicle will be totaled. And as you gentlemen probably realize, that they offer it, you can basically buy it back. So the vehicle value was $7,700. And then, but if you take off our deductible of $2,500, that leaves $5,200. So basically, we could get the vehicle back, and still, they would still pay us $3,386.30. Now, it would come with a salvage title, which we would try and get
Get the restored title, which is
turned
a
over to a restored title.
big deal.
But we would keep the truck, and that way we can stay on our plan. Next year, we were planning on then asking about a pickup. And the way this looks, we'll just keep using it until next year. It
Are we
still
gonna-
runs fine.
Are we gonna fix it?
No, it's not. That's what I mean. It's total. It's not.
Would it be
fixed.
better just to not to file a claim?
No, we did file the claim. So this is through the claim. They would total the truck, but we can
Right,
keep the
but I
truck.
mean, can you kind of retract that and say, okay,
What he's saying is then you don't have the salvage title.
right,
Oh,
I think if I'm picking that up right.
yeah, well, yeah. We could just tell them, let's forget it. And
Right.
I would think, I'm not an insurance guy, but we could probably just tell them, just forget
I
it.
mean, if you're not
keep the
gonna
truck.
fix it anyway,
Yeah.
but.
Well, they'll give you more if you let the insurance company keep it, correct?
Well, only,
Like, is it like-
$5,200.
So like only like $2,000 more.
Not
1,800.
even, about $1,800.
But
If we let them
if
keep
you
it.
turn it in as a claim and buy it back, they'll still give us $3,000,
Yes. Correct.
so.
Well,
You're
what's
talking
what's the truck worth as is? Even with a salvage title? Any idea?
With the salvage title, probably just scrap price. Most people won't buy a truck with a salvage title on it unless their intentions are to fix it.
So it would be best just not turn it in and not have a salvage title. Then what would the
Whatever.
truck be worth?
I mean, would it be worth $2,000? Because if
Yeah,
somebody
maybe
buys it, they're
because
going
it's all
to fix
beat
it.
up. Yeah.
Maybe $2,000,
And if we keep it for a year or so, then what is it worth?
probably about that.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then basically, if you guys would give us permission next year to go ahead and pursue a pickup, then we would just,
Well,
Nice.
plus, and I don't know whether, when we file a claim, if that counts against us in any way either, as far as.
The other thing on that is, as far as leaving it on or taking it off capital asset, if it's on there as a capital asset, then insurance comes into play, it would still have to be insured.
Right.
With a salvage title, would it still need to be insured?
yeah, it'd have to be. They'll only cover, was it PLPD though? Yeah, that's all they would, we couldn't
Couldn't get
need-
full coverage.
We don't need full coverage, but. they
I
at
forget
least
what
cover
kind of
life.
truck is it?
It's a half-ton Dodge Ram crew cab,
2012,
2012 four-wheel drive.
187,000 miles.
I still think the value of that for our purposes is under
Yeah,
the threshold of having it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you make the judgment call on that one.
I mean, okay, that's fine. We'll talk about it, but just, I wanted to present it to you
Get the
guys
$3,000 and a salvage title, or just deny the claim and
and just keep the
take
truck and
keep the truck with a good.
get whatever we get out of it when we get the new one.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. That'll work.
so,
All right, so one of the other things is every year, the 4-H, they don't use our back lot like they used to. Since we put in a new fuel system, we said, no, we don't want everybody parking back here. So basically last year, all they did was they bring their refrigerated trailer to keep their pop in. That's the only thing they park back there in that back lot. And so Jason Newsbaum called me and said, hey, do I need to come? I said, you know what? We'll just do it like last year. All they want to do is park that one trailer there inside our fence. You know, obviously the other open parking is open to them whenever. But I just wanted to make sure you gentlemen were all right with doing that again with the 4-H. And
Is that fence locked?
yes.
So
Yeah,
if their trailer's in there and they need to get in it, then what?
we give Jason a key to get in the fence and that's it. Doesn't open any other doors or anything. He's the only one that'll have a key so they get in there and get their pop out when they need it. And he only opens it when they need to get in. So it's not.
It's like once a day.
Yeah. So he opens it when they go in, he closes it when they go out.
Well, sounds like it's not a security risk if you know exactly who's got the key.
Exactly. Yeah, before we had our fuel system, we didn't mind if they parked some trailers and that in there too, but now we said no. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
You need a motion or anything? Okay, I'll make a motion that we allow the 4-H to use the lot.
Okay,
That way it's in their
Steve, do
official
you have a
meeting.
second?
Are you still there?
He might be getting a beverage.
I can second that. That's fine.
Okay.
That works.
All right. And really the only other thing that we have for you guys is we started chip seal yesterday. So Paul went out with the crew and ran a couple loads. Things went good. Of course, today we got it short again because who knows what the hurricane will bring. We didn't want to get caught in the rain.
Tropical storm.
Oh, tropical storm, sorry.
Yeah.
Or barrel.
Great name.
Yeah,
Yeah, where'd that come from? I thought it was Daryl, and then it's like, nope, it's
Barrel.
Barrel.
yeah.
In Kentucky,
they say
burl.
Yeah, it's Burl.
Basically, if the chip seal doesn't have about 3 to 4 hours to dry, if it rains on it, it doesn't ruin it. But have you ever seen where it just turns them really black?
Just floats that.
Yeah, it just floats that oil up and anyhow, it doesn't hurt the road, just looks really
Huh,
not good.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's,
well, as long as you put enough goo on it so it sticks.
there
That's
you
the
go.
good thing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
All
gentlemen.
right. Rick's not here.
Still be a big parking place
Thanks,
before you feel
guys.
like you.
Yeah.
Go down there,
Yeah.
okay, I parked there myself. Okay.
Kathy, did you have anything for us today?
Kathy,
Kathy, did,
Thank you.
so,
he's calling you up ahead of, well, actually, Rick's not
And
here.
it was my turn, but okay.
Well, Rick's not here, so
Okay, I am here in place of Ed Dyer. He is not feeling well, so we turned in the monthly report for June. Wondered if you had any questions. I think you have the report. Everything's still in balance. We moved a little bit of money around to put some more money into First Bank of Bern because after paying out settlement, things kind of really got low there at First Bank of Bern, and they do so much for us that we wanted to make sure we had some money there to show our appreciation. We had a bond that matured for $500,000 the first of this month. At this time, it has not been reinvested.
are we still looking at interest rates over 5% generally? I mean, we're able to,
Yes, it's 4%, 4.02 for the most part at First Bank of Bern. 4.2, 5.26 at for Farmers and Merchants. Our Trust Indiana is at 5.3. So, yeah, the smaller banks are in the threes, but there's not a whole lot of money in there.
wonder where First Merchants is at, do you know?
First Merchants is at 3.5 right now.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
So no questions on that?
I don't have any questions. You guys have questions on that?
No, I don't. I'll make a motion, we accept the report.
Okay, thank you very much,
Okay.
Kathy.
Two other things he wanted me to talk about was tax sale parcels. When we started the tax sale process in June, mid-June, We had 73 parcels going into tax sale, and as of this morning, we're down to 20.
Really?
It has been certified now, meaning that we have added the $150 in tax sale fees. And it has been turned over to SRI that will do the tax sale. But that's where we add the $150 in fees. And, but they're paying off regularly, so.
So at this point, they can't pull them back out of the tax sale unless
No.
it's,
No, I had 8 or 9 parcels that I had to certify, but then I pulled them back because they paid with credit card or an e-check online, and I don't get that money for 2 business days. So I certified them until I knew I had the money, and then I removed the fees, so.
gotcha.
So they're not certified, but yeah, so. Yeah, so, and the other thing he wanted me to update you on was the spring percent of collections is at 98.88%.
We still need a second and a vote
Oh, I
on
saw.
approving the report. All we did was Steve made a motion to accept it, and I didn't hear anything from
I
Steve.
seconded it.
You seconded that?
Mhm.
Okay. Did Steve have to go?
Steve's not there.
Should have popped them off.
That's all I have. You have
Okay.
any questions for me?
I don't think so. Yeah, I appreciate your work and
Thank you.
Kim and Ed. I think that's always a positive report and just sounds like it's running very well.
Okay. I agree with you. Everything's well.
Yeah.
I think in my 20 years, this is the best I've seen a cash book, the highest amount, so
Really
that's a good thing, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
good.
Okay, thank you so much.
The tax thing was in June was 73.
All right.
You need a time
Well, Mitch.
What's that?
You need a time filler?
No, not really.
We'll bring Rick up.
So, okay. Rick, you're here? How's Rick today?
Good.
Good.
Phil's on this week, so.
Oh,
Job here. The transfer switch, the generator's offline.
really? Good.
So both components are offline, the generator and transfer switch. I've emailed Shamball, try to get all this coordinated of getting the delivery and getting set. I haven't heard anything back yet.
So that means they're manufactured. Does it also mean they're available for pickup or delivery? I mean, they're available to us once they're
They're available for, all I gotta do is make a phone call, they'll ship it.
excellent.
So it's just a matter of coordinating this with Shamball, whoever they subcontract to. So that's where we're at with it.
And then once Shamball schedules it, then it has to be scheduled with you and Mike because there's gonna be an interruption of power.
When they'll probably deliver both items, and then we'll have to, they'll be able to do some wiring, like getting it down the alley, getting it hooked up. But then when it comes, we'll have to make a decision of when we want to do that.
Right.
The interruptions, we will have interruption.
But as far as the wiring, I mean, conduits are all ran and
Yeah,
everything.
they gotta run their wiring through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Has that, bid price been, with Shamball setting that was all in the bid price?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're holding that price since it's been so long. I mean, that's been a long time ago that they gave us
It's
that.
been, it's been 7 months they postponed us. And that's kind of what I told them. I said, look, you got to give us a little time, and they are. You need to give us some time to coordinate this. I mean, we waited on you for 7 months.
Yeah.
or More,
That's what I was curious, if they were holding that price or if it was not.
as far as I know.
And Shamball has not been the holdup in any way.
No,
Yeah,
it's really been getting the generator,
sure.
getting it to us.
Yeah,
But they did say there was going to be some delays, but we didn't think it was going to be this long.
yeah.
So as soon as I get some dates and that, I'll let you know. They'll bring it. And when we get to that point, I'll also come to you about when we want to do this as far as power interruption.
Well, and like we've talked about it, if you did it over a long weekend or something like
Yeah.
that, then,
Preferably, I'd like to do it on a
Friday after 4 start.
Do it like Memorial Day or something.
Yes, I can, but I just don't know how it's gonna line up.
Yeah.
Because there may be, we don't know what may happen after we do it. Hopefully nothing will happen.
Yeah.
The AC unit that we removed upstairs, that is mounted, condenser set. As we speak, Gene Blakey, B-Secure is trying to run some power to it. Then I'll have Judd come back and then we'll try to get it up and fired up and run it. So it's basically over there, installed but not hooked up yet.
So did he end up setting the crane twice then?
He did, but I told him, you know, that's on you. I told him what we need to do.
Yeah.
So you just wouldn't know a way around that.
You said we're gonna try to get that running. Is there a problem there?
No. When I use that terminology, I'd like to have it running yet today, if not tomorrow.
I was just making sure that we.
No.
All right.
They got the little board, the line sets ran. It's basically all hooked up. They'll have to put pump the Freon back in it. It's just a matter of getting the power to it. It'll be on its own.
Well, that's funny when you say that. It sounds like such a simple thing. Oh, just get power to it. But then you realize you're dealing with a courthouse that's 150 years old.
Yeah, it was something to get that board through there. Get that up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I found this out Friday when I was in here, and it may have went out Thursday. Our chillers, there's 2 pumps that supply our chillers. One water pump, 2 water pumps. One, they work simultaneously. Okay? They don't both run at the same time, but if one goes down, the other one will carry it. Well, guess what? We had one go down. The other one carried it, picked it up. So I called, it's a Dilling Group, BTS, which was formerly known as BTS. They came in and this isn't working. You're right.
Was that something that they replaced when they put the new chillers in?
They did. We bought them brand new. 4 months out of warranty.
Oh.
So we gotta have it. Yeah, 4 months out of warranty. So labor, and pump, about $2,500. The new one's in already. So we gotta have it. We can't have it where it goes down. So
Sure.
that's where we're at with that. I mean, but it's installed.
Okay.
Um,
Well, it felt nice and cool when I walked in this morning, so. Yep. I don't think. Steve, do you have anything else for Rick?
I'm good, thank you. My apologies, guys. I dropped off there for a minute or two.
I didn't know Steve was on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, one more thing. Transfer switch is off. I want to see what you guys thought on how you want to do this. So basically, I've got an invoice for the transfer switch. Do we want to pay for that now or wait till we have it in our possession? It's offline, but we don't have it here. I don't want.
Have they built it yet? Built us yet?
Yes.
Just got it right here. Just got it, I think yesterday or whatever. The bill is this is for the transfer switch. $29,862. That's for the transfer switch. It's an invoice. I brought it just to see what you guys think. I mean,
Would we get it quicker if we wait?
We don't have it yet,
No.
but it's offline. I mean,
Are they delivering it?
when I tell them to, yes,
Yes, is delivery contemplated in the invoice?
it is. That's part of the, yeah. Actually, it even says there, they even outlined this, delivery fee is $795, but that's included in that price I just gave you. That. Technically,
I was just wanted to point that out to you guys, I guess. I mean, part of that invoice is for delivery. Delivery hasn't occurred yet.
but they can't deliver until I tell them to do it, which I just explained, I haven't done that yet because we don't have the contractor.
Rick, I apologize for dropping off there, but how long do you anticipate before you'll ask them to deliver?
Well, as I explained to Stan and Steve, I've got to email into Shamball, which is who we hired to do all this work. I haven't heard any response back from them yet, so I can't give the delivery people anything yet until I hear from them.
But I
I
mean,
did
if-
this yesterday morning, so I'm hoping I hear something.
If we took delivery, does Shambaugh have to be here, or can we just kind of leave it set here until they're ready?
Well, how will I load it?
How big is it? Is it real big?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's heavy.
So Shambaugh should
They
probably,
gotta be here and then they know this, but then they gotta get it down in that basement.
well, I would coordinate delivery, with Shambaugh, and I would tend to wait with payment until we had it set in here.
Okay.
I mean, that would be my thought,
I agree.
so,
Okay.
good point though.
Yeah. Very good. That's all I needed to know, which is what I would have said too.
Yeah. And, you know, if they've got a problem with that, I guess we can talk about it, but, you know, to me, that seems appropriate.
If you are approached, which you will, you know what's going on.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Rick.
Yep.
All right. Colton, you want to come on up? Colton and Sidekick?
That's right. Kick with me today.
All right.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Stan.
The Brown.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for getting us on the agenda today. As you've heard at the council meeting, just wanted to come before you to give you a quick update on this tourism initiative that we have started. Once we rolled the early learning initiative out, we were able to start this one up, and we've done that and have hired Taylor Braun to be a part-time employee at the EDC to pursue this initiative, to get it up and running and off the ground. And so really just wanted to offer up the opportunity for you to get to see her, to know who she was. So if you had questions, you knew who to contact, but then would be happy to answer any questions that you have today based off of kind of what we talk about and the conversation we had. Taylor is a Belmont grad. She grew up here, is excited to work here and be, continue to be a part of the community that she's always been a part of. She's got some great ideas and things that she's already done. And so we're excited to have her on board on the team and see this kind of come to life. What we've been doing so far has really just been identifying the different assets that we have within the community. When you think of tourism and what would drive people to come to Adams County, what are those things? Festivals, which are more one-off type things, but what are the physical things? Restaurants, bowling alley, theater, things like that. Getting kind of a database built out of those and then getting social media up and running as well. And so Taylor's hit the ground running with that. Taylor, I don't know if you've got any other comments to what you've been working on. But yeah, would be happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Again, just wanted to offer up the opportunity for you to get to meet her today.
Yeah, and then a couple other the things that we've been working on as well is we're trying to reach out to some of the local business owners as well, kind of seeing how they'd like their business to be promoted and in what way they want it to get out to the community. And also with that, meeting with other tourism groups like Allen County and Wells, seeing how they kind of started to develop their tourism and how we can do the same, maybe kind of get a little check off list for that. Yeah.
Do you ever see Adams County as becoming more of a destination site for tourists?
I think it definitely has the possibility to, 100%.
Do you think that you will be getting the Amish community involved in this?
You know, we haven't really thought about that, but
If you go like to Holmes County, Ohio, or if you go up to northern Indiana, around LaGrange, a lot of the draw up there is the Amish communities.
yeah, and I think also maybe capitalizing on the furniture and stuff like that, that might be a good draw in, because
Well, we've got Coons Den.
Yeah, Steve, I mean, to answer that, certainly with the Amish population that we have, they should be a part of any initiative that we have in Adams County, right? And so with all the small shops that they have and the things that they do, we would certainly want to tap into that and create whatever, we just don't want to go up and pull Shipshewana out and put it down here.
I realize that, but I just know if you take and go east of Bern, out there between Monroe and Bern, you go east, the Amish have their own community out there. They have stores, they have everything. And I delivered lumber out there just on a part-time basis, and I was just amazed of everything that, that's going on out there.
Absolutely. I think we would definitely plan to take advantage of that to whatever that looks like, right? Something that's unique to us, that somebody would want to come here rather than Shipshewana or, whatever the case is. But certainly, being that they're such a, huge part of the community, we would want to tap into that just like we would, the movie theater or other restaurants and things.
One thing it always seems like we're short of in the county is hotels and motels. So,
That'll definitely be something that we'll look at, kind of determine, the hope of this whole initiative is that tourism grows enough that, it's a full-time position, it's its own entity, it's driving a lot more people to the community. And with that, we're going to need, maybe, new hotels, updated hotels,
How
things
about
like that.
1950s hotel?
Yeah, we'll have to work.
You know what I'm talking about?
Work with our local hotels to kind of assess where they're at, what their needs are, and how we can help them. That'll all be a part of this.
well, and even listings for VRBOs, because I think those are probably a lot more in demand than what people realize.
Certainly. Yeah, Airbnbs and Vrbo, yeah, absolutely. We'll have to look at
Yeah.
all of those and, assess what's available in Adams County, right? If somebody calls Taylor and says, hey, we're going to come spend a weekend, she needs to be equipped to say, well, here are the Airbnbs, here are the Vrbos, here are the hotels, here are the restaurants that you can partake in, here are the different events that weekend. And so we'll need a full assessment. She's already building out that database that has all of those things so that she is able to speak directly to, here's what you can do and here's what we have to offer. So.
Well, and even if you want to coordinate with Mike Brown as far as putting a link on the county website.
Yep.
A tourism link or whatever that.
Eventually we'll build out a website, a tourism website, kind of its own thing that can link to county's website and share information there for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen.
Best of luck.
If you do have any questions, certainly, as always, feel free to reach out to Taylor. You've got her contact information now, or stop in the office.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Mark?
So you've already approved this. I'm just trying to get new signatures. So what they didn't have on there was a gas line. So they wanted it to be plotted on there.
Oh, recorded with the gas.
Yes.
Now, is that
Change.
is that,
This is something you guys already approved, signed, but when it went to get recorded, they decided that they realized the gas line was not showing.
The easement.
right here? And, so they wanted that to be on there before they recorded it. And so they're gonna re-record this one. Motion to accept.
Steve, you want to second that or you want me to?
I will. Nope, I got it. Second.
Okay.
Oh, you got a pen?
Where's the gas?
This is the gas. This is the gas.
Yeah.
They can easily miss it with whatever they end up building there, but it's definitely right through the middle of lot 3.
Needs to be.
When nobody can say they weren't told.
Yeah.
That's smarter. Thank you. So.
Okay. Clayton, did you have anything for us?
Yes, just really one thing. And I will need an ordinance number. This would just be an updated no-through truck ordinance. So, instead of reading through the entirety of it, I mean, short title is an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners, Adams County, State of Indiana, which designates various county roads or parts of county roads as no truck thoroughfares pursuant to the powers vested in the Board of Commissioners, County of Adams, State of Indiana, under Indiana Code 921-138 and Indiana Code 921-47. After speaking with the Highway Department, there were multiple roads on our previous one that were labeled as no through truck roads. With projects having been done, I amended the portion of the ordinance here, which is the removal of previously designated no truck thoroughfares, which is a majority of these that were previously down on this list. And then there's multiple from, County Road 200 West, Pickle Road, Monmouth Road, Winchester Road, County Road 900 North, 850 North, 400 North, 450 North, 150 North, 100 East, 200 East, Salem Road, 000, Covered Bridge Road, 100 West, 200 West, 350 West, 400 West, Salem Road, Polk Street, 700 East, 1050 South, 1100 South, 500 East, 1200 South. Those remain no truck thoroughfares.
7.
Hmm.
7.
7. Oh,
But Brad, do we want trucks running through there? On these roads, do we want trucks running?
Yeah, basically, the roads that are being taken off were just the ones we just put on just for those projects.
Understand?
And, they were truck roads before. That, I was honestly, when Clayton was reading it, I was just thinking about that. Probably be a good time now to go through and look at all of them again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do we really want trucks running through there? I mean, if we have it up, no through trucks, it might discourage somebody that, I'm just asking.
Well, now the highway's open, the trucks don't normally defer to that route.
Yeah.
necessarily.
But no, anyhow, I think, it may not hurt, because I know the ones that have always been on there, it may not hurt to go back through, and Paul and I go back through and look at those. Because they've been on there forever. Maybe there's some that need some
Is
rethink.
it a no truck route or a no through truck?
No through truck.
through truck.
It always accommodates farm trucks and.
Correct.
If you have business on that
If you have
road,
business on
then you
that.
can do it, but if you're just driving through, that's where you're
Correct.
prohibited.
The definitions are within the ordinance. I have through traffic, which means traveling county roads without a commercial reason to stop on that county road. Truck being a commercial vehicle with more than 2 axles. So if they have a reason to go on that road because they're going to stop for a commercial reason, it's more than okay for them to drive.
Nate, any thoughts?
It's reasonable.
To reopen them, you mean?
Yep.
I'll make motion.
Steve, what was your motion again?
I'd make a motion that we accept this ordinance.
2024-7.
Okay, second.
Okay, motion carries to, remove the no through truck routes as those presented.
You wanna go two, okay, three?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah,
Brad, I would still ask you guys to take a look at those and see if there's some that we just took off that should have stayed on for one reason or another.
yeah,
Like you
and
said.
we'll go through the list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with approving the ordinance, but let's make sure we aren't doing something without thinking about it here.
Well, like he said, those were open routes before. And I don't know that anything's changed. Other than 218's open again, so.
Unless you get into Wells County, it's not.
Oh, it's not over there? But I mean, it's not a detour that's,
No, they're doing a bridge work over there.
that Burn Ready Mix is using or whatever.
Well, and if highway identifies, a road that needs to be switched one way or another, it just takes me to revise that. I
An
mean,
amendment.
yeah, and that ordinance has been revised multiple times over the years, just every time those change. So it's very easy to do.
We'll get a copy afterward, Clay.
Yep.
It's a long list. I didn't get them all down. Decatur is one of the few cities in the whole country its size with 3 US highways going through it.
Oh,
It's amazing. You don't think about it, but it's got 3 US highways going through Decatur.
yeah, that's true.
For a city of 10,000.
Yeah.
A lot of trucks.
How many does Wilshire have?
So you can just send me a
They're
copy.
state and federal, they aren't federal. They've got 81, they got 33, they got 2.
49.
81 staff.
49's a state highway, isn't it?
I don't know. Thank you.
All right. Steve, anything else for the county attorney?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right. Shannon, do you have anything for us? My Lord. And not seeing anybody. Oh, Sheriff.
Oh, great.
All right, new law, reference contracts. I have to bring all contracts in front of you for either permission to sign, you sign, or you have 10 days to review a contract, and then I can take action on it if it, to the security and care of the facility or inmates. You guys understand what law I'm talking about?
So, yes.
Okay.
So this gives you the power to sign the contracts with oversight by us.
Correct. And so here's a contract, this is not a major contract at all. Basically at the jail, the edging around the landscape. It's a metal separation from stone to grass. Well, that's been hit. I don't want it to hit and screw up a $30,000 mower. So I'm wanting to change that out to a cement curb that's angled to where a mower can go right up to it so you don't have to trim and things like that. And this is just a simple contract. The contract is more or less talking about the limited liability of the warranty of it, things like that. The money I'm using, commissary money to pay for it. But I believe since this is a contract that's asking for my signature, I have to bring it to you guys. I can cross your name out and sign, you can sign it, or you give me the authority, I believe I can sign it.
So are we gonna have to do this with every single contract that you?
Unless you give an ordinance, you can verify this. Under the statute, it says that you can give me authority to sign contracts.
Put a dollar amount on it?
Yes, basically, just something like that. You can do that. But otherwise, every single thing I do, I have to bring to you.
You want that ordinance?
Well, I guess that's where I would kind of defer to how much control we want to have over the contracts that you're responsible for. Since commissioners are at the bottom of the hill when it comes to liability. And, so I guess I'd ask for your thoughts too, and also Clayton, as far as,
Because like this contract, this is $12,000.
and see, we have no business with oversight with that, so.
I'm going by the law.
I know.
But like I said, the statute allows you to put an ordinance of what I need to bring to you, what I don't know, if that'd be a dollar amount or whatever, that's totally up to you. And I support that because like I said, if it's something I need an additional for or something like that, I'm coming to you guys anyways and then going to council.
Sure.
But if it's within my maintenance budget and I need to do something, I now have to come to you on a Tuesday, give you, and you have up to 10
Well,
days to approve it.
I would be fully in favor of creating an ordinance that says we would give you authority, and I would either designate that by dollar amount or designate it by specific contract groups. You know, if it's maintenance and you've got to decide, your maintenance or housekeeping or whatever.
Yeah, because like I have a contract with Chet for pest control. And when
Yeah,
that comes up,
we've got
I will now have to bring that to you guys to approve it or not.
But as far as like, say, for example, with you taking federal prisoners or
Mhm.
not, I don't remember, but I assume we had to sign a contract with the federal
Correct.
marshal's office.
Correct.
I would like to have oversight on that decision.
Understood.
So
Understood.
somehow,
You want me to work with Clayton on trying to figure out language to bring to you guys for your approval?
that would be my thought. I don't know, how do you guys feel?
I mean, the first step for me will also be to identify whether or not, our purchasing ordinance already satisfies what that new statute says. Because the sheriff is listed as a limited purchasing agent in the purchasing ordinance already. So, maybe just some fine tuning to even that ordinance, or an ordinance on its own.
But I think the whole intent of that state law was because there were commissioners that insisted on having oversight on every single thing
Yes.
that sheriff did. And
that's why they put that subcategory into it, allowing you to make an ordinance providing less oversight, basically, or controlling that, and limit what I need to bring to you and what I don't need to bring to you. That's why they put it in there, because honestly, this was because of 3 or 4 counties in the state, and all the other counties work like we work. It's fine. And you don't want this coming to you every Tuesday with this stuff. I get that. So I'll work with Clayton. We'll bring something to you in a couple weeks and see if we can get that hammered out and we'll work through it. Because I don't want to come to you every Tuesday either with this stuff. I mean,
Do you need something done today for that one, though?
because of the law, yes, I do. Because I want to get this project moving. So I would like,
Well,
and you can give me approval, correct me if I'm wrong, Clay, you can give me approval by a vote that I can sign this and I'm out of your hair.
well, let's start with this. Let's give, I would accept a motion to approve the revised lawn edging
So moved.
contract. And,
And allowing
okay, and
Dan to
Steve
sign it?
second that.
And allowing Dan to sign it?
Yes.
And so the next thing is, how we want to handle that as far as preparing an ordinance that would.
And you guys will work together, right?
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
And this is gonna be new for a lot of counties right now, because it just took effect July 1st.
You
So,
know, and that's an ordinance, you know, like you say, there's a few counties that are bumping heads where the sheriff and the commissioner are bumping heads.
Yep.
And that's not our case, so,
No.
and if that ever happens,
the ordinance can always be rescinded by the commissioners later on.
Yeah, I mean, the statute's helpful with giving the ordinance, but I mean, like the sheriff said, that the statute itself requiring oversight was a state reaction to abuse in certain counties, without oversight. So then they said everything has to be oversought. And obviously, just like that, there are multiple counties that said, we don't want to, nor do we have a need for that. So it provides that avenue. So we'll just put language into an ordinance that is good with the sheriff and you all.
So do we delineate that between a dollar amount or by
I mean-
category?
That'll be a decision really up to you. So if you guys would like to discuss that today and provide your opinions, I can bring, multiple versions back, whether it be one version that is more, categorical on spending.
I guess I would like maybe both. I would rather not have you go out and sign a contract for $800,000 on a new dispatch software without our oversight.
Correct.
And I would rather not have you sign further contracts with the marshal's office with that. So to me, there's a dollar amount issue, but there's also a category.
And as far as purchasing a lot of things, I still have to follow, if it's over $50,000, I have to get quotes and do all that anyways.
Yeah, and you still, those purchases you have to present
Correct.
to the commissioners just by the purchasing ordinance regardless.
So it's,
So it's really anything under.
yeah, and that might be what it is. Anything under 50, then you're okay with me as long as it's budgeted money, that I'm not asking for new money, because then I'd have to come to you and then go to council and get appropriations for that stuff.
Yeah, it could probably run along the lines of that and then just referencing the current purchasing ordinance and, the sheriff agreeing that he will abide by those requirements, with if it's budgeted, but it's between 5,000 and 20,000, he has to get at least one bid or quote. If it's between 20 and 50, you have to get at least two quotes, but he doesn't have to come for your approval. He just has to keep proof that he got two quotes. If it's in his budget, he can do it.
So how do we address the other issue of categories that we want oversight?
Well,
It may or may not address dollar issues.
Well, even like the marshal, it still is a dollar issue because I'm going to generate money. I'm not spending money, I'm generating money. And maybe it could be something like the wording, anything that will cost and or generate funds of $50,000 or more, I need to bring to you. I mean, and that would cover all those things.
Right, and so even that wouldn't be a dollar issue in as much as, like say a future commissioner saying, well, we feel like housing federal prisoners brings an element into our community of visitors and families that we don't feel safe with or whatever. So maybe outside of that dollar figure, future commissioners may say, we don't want to take federal prisoners in. So.
Well, and he can correct me if I'm wrong. When it comes with the care and security of the facility, I bring that to your attention. You say you don't want that. But since it falls into that category, I have statutory duties. I can still go ahead and do it as long as the contract meets those state requirements of indemnification and this and this and this. I can still do it without commissioner's approval.
As far as taking federal prisoners.
Correct. So, but that has to be done in a public meeting. So these guys are here, and if you show that and then the community backs you and I get heat, then that might change my mind as a politician. But that's the whole transparency behind this law, is these conversations have to be held in a public meeting. You can have it, and then you have 10 days, which gives you basically 2 meetings that we can discuss it. One, then you can go the next week and you can give your recommendation of for or against, and I argue it with you, that type of stuff. But on a very limited measure, correct me if I'm wrong again, I still could do it without your approval if it falls under the security and care of the facility or inmates. But it's been talked about in an open meeting, and that's kind of it protects the sheriff's office statutory constitutional rights by Indiana, that I have my own separate powers, and that's what's gone to court over the last year and a half with some of the commissioners and counties, and the court has backed the sheriff's office saying that you have a statutory obligation, and that's what we're protecting. However, we're still making you be transparent with your commissioners, that you have to tell them about it, and they can voice their concerns. The county attorney can voice concerns, and then I can take his advice and try and renegotiate the contract to make everybody happy. Or if I sign it, then you guys put me on notice that you're against it for these reasons.
And always keeping in mind that whatever decisions you make, though statutorily you have the right and privilege to make those decisions. The other thing that comes with those decisions is a liability, and a lot of that liability comes back to commissioners.
Correct.
So that's where I think we need to have some oversight on those types of decisions.
100%. I like the new law. I really do.
But also that statute, if there comes a time when it does fall within the category of the sheriff, and I believe this from the last time I read it, if it's a decision that falls within his statutory rights, but the commissioners disagree with it, then there would be some type of an agreement that the sheriff would basically be indemnifying, I think to an extent, the remainder of the county. Which I think that the sheriff's department themselves take on a much higher portion of the liability if there is a disagreement.
Well, I think I disagree with you a little bit because as long as the indemnity in the contract meets statutory minimum requirements, that my liability insurance is still through the county.
Theirs, yeah,
So,
okay.
but it has to be there.
Mhm.
And if it's not there, you would point that out to me and then either I have to get that corrected or then I couldn't sign the contract because it's an illegal contract due to the indemnification
Requirements, okay.
So it's definitely a checks and balance, without a doubt. And Representative Lehman was the one who sponsored this bill and he's made it quite clear to us to where if we see problems with it, to let him know and across the state and they will tweak stuff in this year's legislation. Because I said, this is a whole new thing that involves a lot of spokes in the wheel with Indiana Constitution and statutes and trying to make everybody happy.
Well, and that's where I feel so privileged in that Representative Lehman has met with us and you in a meeting to discuss before he ever put this
Yeah.
legislature together.
And we've been in close
To come up
contact
with
with the
something that
AIC.
everybody's comfortable with, so.
So, yeah, I mean, this is a work in progress. It's not gonna be perfect, but I'm trying to make sure I'm
You know, that's
dotting
funny.
my i's and crossing my t's.
I'm a little surprised this legislation came out of the House, I guess, but.
Well, like I said, it helps when you have the number 3 in the House, in your backyard, and basically almost number 2 in the Senate, who sponsored on the Senate side with Senator Holman.
Yeah.
They were the 2 that pushed this, and both parties kind of fell in line, because last year we wasted a lot of time with dealing with issues with this, and counties have spent a lot of money in court dealing with this issue, so hopefully this clears this stuff up.
Yeah. Well, and once again, I think, you know, I've said this many times before, we enjoy the privilege of a very cooperative effort in this county between county government and the sheriff's department and our legislators. I think that's something that we need to appreciate and enjoy.
I appreciate every day I talk to my cohorts in the counties that don't have these relationships. And
Yeah.
some of it is their fault and some of it is the other side's fault. But they get their heels dug in and they just don't budge. And I am so blessed that we don't have that here. And I'm so blessed that I'd say 90% of the state doesn't have those issues. It's a
Yeah.
very select few. And I'm sorry, from what I've seen, it's down political lines. And their political counties is where this is happening at. The majority of our counties, we don't have these issues, but hopefully this statute will fix those things and we don't have that.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I appreciate like I said, our working relationship that we've had and talking to my other cohorts around the state that don't have that relationship. I dread my job.
Yeah.
I would dread it. And they hate council and commissioner days. I don't mind it. So it is a blessing that we have the relationship that we have, and I don't see that changing anyway. I don't see this statute changing that in any way. It's just we got to work out these little fine tweaks.
All right,
So
thanks, Clayton.
just for clarification, I'm good. I can sign this.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll work on something, bring something to you in the future. But until that happens, if I have stuff, I'm going to still bring it to you like this until we get our issue hammered out and that's approved.
And we'll look forward to new law education.
All right. It won't happen until August. They're that far out in scheduling already. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, Sheriff.
I'll call you and make appointments.
Yep,
Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, there's been some discussion on disposing of personal property at Golden Meadows, and we've got the resolution to accommodate that. One of the things that we had in discussion last week was whether we should sell some of that or instead of giving it away. So I've asked Steve to go ahead and come up with a system to present as far as how to dispose of things that have greater than diminutive value. So So I don't know. Steve, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I really don't. Yeah, I think probably just my concern is that once we get past local government and even extended government, that we not give things away that could ultimately be sold at an auction or whatever and bring dollars back into the county,
Okay, well, if you're willing to work on that and kind of come up with ideas to present.
I'll get out, meet with Brenda and we'll get something. And when I get back from vacation, I'll work on it. We'll get this
Okay,
thing processed.
because just a reminder, we have no commissioners meeting next week. And so we will return again the following week. That's, next week's the 16th, so we'll return again on the 23rd. I won't return, and if I don't come back after that, I got eaten by a polar bear, so.
I'll send a rescue squad for you.
No, no,
We'll send Dan to track you down.
yeah. Yeah, so
life, guys. It happens.
they'll try and pull me off the cruise ship and my fingers will be locked to the rail. All right, so, anything from the general public? Okay, if not, I accept a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All right, meeting adjourned.